Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today we're going to make an arrangement using this fabulous vase that I was given by a friend who was a demonstrator, and she said, "Oh, I want you to have this because I know you'll use it." So what I've got is I've got the vase and I've crinkled up some of this aluminium wire inside just to create a base for our flowers. So we can add some water. And the good thing with this vase is it actually holds a good amount of water. And this is the problem with this vase actually, is it's quite narrow, and because it was a gift, I'm quite scared that I break it, because sometimes I do have clumsy moments, and it's at risk of doing that, but just by adding the water it's giving it a bit more security. So the materials that I've got for today are really these aspidistra leaves, 1 or 2 roses, this Christmas orchid, and this twine. So when you look at this, we've got some really interesting movement, and I want to just incorporate this into our design. So I think, right, how can we set this up? So I kind of look and I think this is making something that's quite flat, much more three-dimensional and more interesting. So let's have a wee play with this. Now it does take a minute just to see how this is going to land and sit. And that actually is working quite well like that. So what I'm going to do is just... You could wire this, or you could attach it in a different way. But I think the best way is probably to use this stem just to peg it. So we can go right in with that. And that immediately is holding our cane, our ribbon, if we want to call it a ribbon, onto our design. So just need to have a wee play with it first. And this is the great thing with this, is it's actually got the wire in the edge of the roll. But that creates a nice base for whatever we do now. So instead of this being quite flat and slightly boring or slightly difficult to work with, we've now got the depth created by this framework that we've done. We've also got this piece of material is giving us like a highlighted area to our design. So now we can look at what we want to add flower wise, and we're going to have to be careful that we don't add too much that we basically hide this, because then it's just going to look a bit messy and it's going to look a bit funny. So the material that I really wanted to use was the aspidistra, because just by skewering it we can create these loops. So we've got a round container, lots of loops with our cane, and then we can actually emphasize that by creating loops with our material at the same time. So what I do is just fold over the top of the aspidistra, and then you can skewer it through to create more loops, which is quite interesting. So straight away, that's giving us quite a nice area. But we might want to add a little bit of a contrast there as well, so that works. Yeah, this is good. This is kind of taking your eye down this way, and this is also taking your eye up that way, so that's giving us a line that way, which is great. So what we need to do now is decide where we're going to place our focal flower, which is going to be this rose. And do we want it to be in there? Or do we want it to be up in here? We've got options, but I will take off the foliage off our rose. Now to me that's looking a little bit squashed there, so I think we will move it up into this area. But we did have our little roses as well, so we can add them in. Now this vase has got quite a good depth, so we don't need to cut stems too short. We can really put them in nice and long so that they're really getting good water. This is a little bit fiddly, but it's worth working with it. Now with using the scrunched up wire, you might find that things move around a little bit, so you just need to reassess how things are sitting. And I really want a rose down into this little bit here, so we can probably feed it in there. This is where wearing your glasses on the top of your head rather than for your eyes isn't really the best way to do it, so that makes a big difference. Yeah, we can just get that to sit. Now, I don't want to throw in every rose if it doesn't need it, but I think we could do with one just again further back. So now it's a case of just have a look and see how things are sitting. Do they need adjusted? Do we want to add anything else? Do we want to have a leaf coming down forward? What you can do with aspidistra is you can make it narrower as well. So we can actually take off an element if we'd wanted to bring in a leaf down here. So that is possible. We can actually try that. Where, just pop that in. And there we go. We've got a simple Christmas arrangement. Now it's Christmas because it has an element that is sparkly and Christmassy, but essentially a simplified arrangement, really just using this ribbon, the vase and the folded leaves to create something with a bit of impact. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, click here to subscribe. Join us on YouTube and tap the bell so that you get notifications of all our new videos. And we hope to see you soon.